Today's video is once again brought to you guys by Keeps. Now don't skip ahead just yet, we have some useful information here. 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of male pattern baldness before they are 35, and I know that includes a lot of you guys watching right now. We're trying to keep the boys looking good, keep a nice set of hair on your heads. Keeps is the answer because Keeps has revolutionized the way men are being treated for hair loss. You no longer have to go to the doctor in person. You can do it all online, figure out what medication works best for you, and they will ship it directly to your door. Remember that prevention is key, and it may take anywhere from 4 to 6 months to start seeing results. So if you want to save more hair, you got to start using Keeps sooner. So what are you waiting for? Go to our link in the description below and you will save 50% off your first order. That is keeps.com/boostedboys to save 50% on your first order. Don't forget it. Thank you guys at Keeps for sponsoring today's video. Well, the time has finally come. We've been meaning to do this for over a year now, but we finally have the Routacy on the lift. And right now what I'm doing is I'm measuring how long we're going to need our custom axles for this thing, because we've been running the Routacy on just stock axles the whole time this thing has been put together, and she breaks axles anytime we try to take it to the track. If we even think about launching this thing, they're gonna break. We're gonna start with the front ones because those we can get upgraded right now. They're still gonna be a few weeks out after I give the measurements we need to get these axles made. I wanna wait until we upgrade the rear axles because I still want to put a wagon diff in the rear of the Routacy here. Right now we're still running the CRV style diff, and the diff itself is just not very strong. But these wagon diffs are so hard to find nowadays because everyone is buying them up the second they become available. They are super expensive, and I'm doing my best to track another one down. I do have one more, but that one is being saved for the hatch. And you know, we could throw the one that was supposed to go on the hatch on the van right now and try to track another one down. But I do want to say, if anyone out there has a wagon diff, please let me know because we will grab it for the minivan here. But we need to upgrade the diff in the back before we measure for the rear axles, because the wagon diff alone has a bigger spline from factory, so it will be stronger right out of the gate. But we're at least getting the front axles upgraded right now. So what we did is we took the axles out of the front here and put everything back together, and then we have the van on jack stands here just to recompress the suspension to its normal ride height so we get everything correct. Then all we did is take a tape measure, stick it through our hole here where there is no longer an axle, and then that guy just butts up to the end of our hash shaft there. We measure to the inside of the hub, and then same deal for the other side, except this just goes to the axle seal on the side of the transmission, and then once again to the inside of our hub there. And we got about 20 inches on each side, and I'm going to be sending those measurements in, and hopefully in a few weeks from now we can have some upgraded beefy axles for the front of the Routacy, and then we will get to the rear once we find that wagon diff and get that installed and just get the whole drivetrain on the van upgraded. Because once we do that, you know, she's dialed, she's ready to go, and hopefully it will be an unstoppable minivan once we get the drivetrain all upgraded on this thing. But that is something we are finally working on. It has taken us forever to finally do this, but you know, it's time. Get those upgraded and start taking some names in the van here. Well, it's looking like we have our first repair to do on the NSX here. Took this thing out the other day and I was doing a couple hits on the street, you know, just enjoying the car. This thing absolutely rips. I was enjoying myself, hitting the rolling anti-lag, maybe got a little too comfortable with the rolling anti-lag because it is very rowdy, and I think the backfire of the anti-lag, it may have found an existing crack on the exhaust system here and made it a little worse. So I'll show you guys real quick. If I try to shut the trunk here, you can see that it no longer lines up right there. It will hit, and when I got back I noticed it looked a little off, and I was like, what is up with the exhaust on the NSX? And I grabbed it, and it's very loose. I was like, oh, it just came loose from the turbo, no big deal, I'll just open it up and tighten it real quick. But no, it turns out that it completely cracked all the way around right there, pretty bad, and that guy is very flimsy. I could probably break it off if I just pulled on it towards me, so we're not gonna do that. I'm just gonna leave it for now. I might just try to very quickly take it off and just weld it back into place, you know, just to get the car drivable again. But I went ahead and actually ordered everything to make a full new exhaust for the NSX, so that stuff will be on the way. So I'm gonna have to redo the exhaust real quick. No big deal, you know, it happens over time. Manifolds and stuff do crack, and I have no idea if there was already a small crack there. I think me hitting the rolling anti-lag a few times on the highway is definitely what sent that off right there. Damn, it cracked it bad. Yeah, so I have everything for order to fix that, and they did a lot of pie cuts right here to go up and out. What I'm gonna do is probably just come off here just how they did, but instead of all these pie cuts right here, I'll probably just, you know, use a 90 and then maybe add a little tip just to get it in the right spot. But yep, we gotta make a new exhaust for the NSX, so not a big deal, but I thought I'd show you guys that. It's kind of funny. If I were to redo some of the things on this car in the future, which I might, just not now, it would be cool if we put the fuel cell in the very front of the car, kind of like how the MR2 is, just to help with that better weight distribution. And I would have really liked to do the exhaust actually down and out the back at some point. That's just a thought I had. I do like the hood exit in Boosted Boys fashion, you know, going right out is kind of cool. You like seeing the flames and stuff, but on this car, I would have definitely not minded if this wasn't there and the trunk was just nice and clean and we had just a nice normal exhaust out the back here on a car like this. So that is a thought for the future as well. But for right now, since we already have the hole there and we don't have another trunk or anything like that, we're going to keep the exhaust how it is. But if one day I could track down an NSX trunk and paint it the same color, I would not be opposed to moving the cell and running that out the back later on. But for right now, the car is honestly really good how it is. So we're just gonna fix it how it is. Already got to fix the thing. Big oof on that one. Look at that.
Yeah, that's no
all the way around, dude.
Jesus.
I tried to get the wideband off before I took this off, and it was literally gonna bust the whole exhaust pipe off the car.
That's horrible.
I can open it just with my hand.
Damn.
So for right now, I'm just gonna send it and patch it up, but I already got everything on the way, so we'll make a new one once that stuff comes.
Nice.
All right, guys, in this box, we finally have all the sensors we finally need for the MR2, except for one, which we'll show you guys here very soon, but it's not crucial for the dyno, even though we'll have it before the dyno. But these are the final sensors we need right here. So we have one extra for, what was this one? The pressure?
For the back pressure
sensor. Yeah, back pressure, so we'll monitor the back pressure. And then we talked about monitoring EGTs, which is the individual cylinder exhaust temps, and that is all of these guys right here. These are probes that will go into each runner of the exhaust manifold, and each of these guys will measure our temperature.
Thermocouple, dog.
Yeah, thermocouple, dude. So we got some different lengths here. We have 18 inches on this one, two 24 inches, and a 30 inch, because we're gonna be mounting the module off to the side here, and then we want the lengths, you know, to look nice. And yeah, got those guys.
Shout out to Fuel Tech. They
Yep.
sent these over real quick.
Yep, Fuel Tech got us hooked up. And then this guy right here, what we were waiting on to power our electronic wastegate. So this is a dual power driver from Fuel Tech, because the ECU itself doesn't have enough power to actuate, you know, the motor in there. So this taps into the power from the battery to power the motor in the wastegate, and the ECU just, you know, tells this when to send power up and down to the gate to move it. So it's basically like an amp for the wastegate, you know. If you install speakers or something, we have an amplifier for our wastegate.
Sick.
So we got all that stuff, and yeah, we're gonna have to pull the manifold back off to get the bungs welded on. There's little bungs that go to these thermocouplers, and yeah, you just, it's like a mini wideband, so you weld the bung on there, put those in there, we'll run those to the driver, that ties into the computer, then we'll have EGTs working, and then get everything wired in for the gate, get that back pressure sensor installed, and then the last sensor we're waiting on, and it's no secret, but we are doing a fancy laser height sensor this time. So we had the one that we were gonna try out, but there was a lot of things we needed to do to make it work, and
that one was kind of chintzy, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a cheaper version, and it would have been a lot of testing, so we just decided to not even mess with that. We're gonna use a proven sensor. I spent almost $500 on a very nice laser ride height sensor that will react in very real time, very fast, very precise. And once we get that, hopefully in the next couple of days, we'll show you that as well. So our plan is to hook that up to save us from the wheelies. If that sensor sees this thing start to take off at all, it's gonna kill the power to the car, and we will hopefully be able to fine tune the wheelies, and I won't have to be worried while I'm driving the car. I can launch it as hard as I want and know that the sensor will save the car if it tries to take off to the moon. So we do finally have a very high quality one coming, and I'm excited to show you guys once it comes, but that's the last sensor we need, and then everything else is ready to go. But worst case scenario, even if we didn't get that, we can still dyno the car as is. So we just gotta get this stuff installed. Everything will be, you know, good to go, and then get her on the rollers.
Got the tubing also to do the wastegate dump. We're gonna knock that out
Oh
today.
yeah, we didn't show that. Yeah, we got the 2-inch tubing over there for the gate.
Yup. 2.5.
Oh, is it 2.5?
2.5. Thing's got a bigger wastegate.
2.5?
2.5.
I got.
Bro, this thing's got a bigger wastegate dump than some people's turbo back
That's
exhaust.
bigger than the intercooler piping on the hatch.
For real. Just for a wastegate dump, brother.
All right, got the exhaust all welded back up on the NSX here. Once again, this is just a temporary solution because it cracked that bad. Will come back again, but this will just get us by in case we want to take this thing out in the next couple days for whatever reason. But she lines up good again, right back through the hole. It's not off anymore, so we can actually close the trunk. And yeah, it's looking good. And I did not film too much of when we were taking it out on the street, just enjoying ourselves. But all I can say is I do not regret the decision to get the NSX. This thing moves out. And I don't know if we're going to be doing a event sooner than this, but I can confirm we signed this thing up for the roll racing at FL2K, which isn't for like another 3 months. That's in October, but the spots fill up fast, so I just decided to get tickets early while we could. But we will be roll racing this thing at FL2K when the time comes. Where are we thinking?
Something like that.
Just like that, just dump her on out.
Yeah. Go ahead, throw me a mark on there.
It's looking pretty good right there.
Sweet.
That's looking real nice.
Super fancy, but super minimal dump tube.
Got Witt's Welds over here.
What's welding services?
About to have ourselves a dump tube.
Yes, sir. Get this knocked out, then weld on the bungs onto the manifold.
That is looking awesome. So we have the manifold pulled off of the MR2, and Wyatt just got all of the EGT probe deals. What are they?
Thermocouples.
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 Technically plural thermocouples, yes.
Thermocouples.
Yep.
We got all the EGT thermocouples installed.
I was gonna say most people just call them EGT probes or whatever. So.
Yeah, just call them probes. Got
Same
the bungs,
deal.
whatever.
But yeah, got them all installed. They're all
got
ready to go.
each one of those welded on there. Drilled a hole, welded the little bung in there, and then they thread right on. And then you want to make sure that they are all set to the same exact height in the runner to get accurate readings. And they are all in there and good to go. Got our Fuel Tech logos on there, and then these all run off right there, and then these plug into a little module that then goes to the ECU. Then it can monitor the temperature in each of the cylinders there. So this will be very useful while tuning. You can see if a certain cylinder will need a little more fuel than the others because it's running a little hotter. You know, it's running a little leaner than the others, so you can actually tune per cylinder, and it's just good to have all the data. So
Yep.
we're
It'll
really
be
sending
nice
it here.
Also, you know, if you lose a cylinder or something, super easy to diagnose. You pull up the log, boom, that cylinder's got no heat.
Yep, exactly.
Simple
Like
as
during the
that.
past, like we're down on power, you could see cylinder 2 is way colder than the rest of them. You know, it wasn't firing. It's just good to have all the data we possibly can. So this
Going
looks
with this
freaking
whole new
awesome,
setup and
dude.
everything, we just wanted to have all the info we could. So better to have it than not, and they'll work pretty good, dude. They're really nice. Their kit, super nice quality. So
Yeah, this is the most data and fanciness we've ever had for sure.
legit.
MR2's getting all the fancy stuff here.
Yeah.
So that looks
We
freaking
went
awesome,
from like
dude.
pretty stout, but like still entry level stuff, and then like to now just like over the top, like almost motorsports grade.
Yep.
stuff,
We want to try to do it all right. Get the MR2 just as dialed and reliable as we can. Get all the data. So, you know, I know KSR is probably loving this right now, seeing all the inputs we're putting on here.
For real.
And I know he did talk about our weight plate in the past. You know, we should be a little better now. Got those bars welded on there stout.
Yeah, got all that welded on. We're still gonna put a bar in front of the tank and everything. I haven't got to it yet.
Oh, we should probably show how we did the coolant real quick to the gate. Saw a couple comments actually wanting to see that. So we have these dash 4 bungs just going in right there on either side of the gate there, and then Wyatt actually tapped into the icebox system, and it's pretty straightforward. So he just welded a bung.
Shout out to Rob Dom. I actually watched his video on his gate. Not for like how to do this, but he actually went into a good amount of detail and kind of influenced why I ran it off the water box and not the cooling system. So the water is not actually to cool the gate, it's just to cool the magnets and the motors. So it's not going to introduce a whole lot of heat into the cooling system, whatever way you do it. So what it's gonna do is the water box feeds the intercooler on this side here. So you're gonna have a good pressure, you know, going into this intercooler. And then we just have a little line coming off of it. It's gonna feed into the gate. And then
goes into the one side, and then
and then that other one actually just
out.
goes right back into the tank so that it has no pressure on the backside, so it will have good flow going through it. So really simple setup. Got that knocked out. Gate will be cooled. Won't have any issues with it longevity wise.
Yeah, should be ready to rip, dude.
Dude, it's getting close, man.
It's right there.
Really close. Like, I'm pumped to see it all come together. You start a project like this and then you work on it forever and you're like, is it ever gonna end?
Yep.
It's ending. It's getting very close.
Yeah, guys, lots of little things. You know, we've been slow on uploads lately, waiting for stuff to come in. Like I said, I was supposed to be working on other projects by now, but we've been waiting on that stuff to show up.
Yep.
So we really haven't had too much to do other than wait for stuff to come in for this and get her fully dialed in and buttoned up. Because we're trying to take our time and do it right.
Yeah, and even with the parts we do have, it's just all super small, tedious stuff. So it's like the 4-part intercooler series, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, unless you guys want more I could just, you know, do the intercooler series again.
Right. So
Whole episode. Today we ran a coolant line because that's all we got in the mail today.
Yeah.
Part 1.
Yeah.
Part 2 coolant system done.
Welcome to 2021 where everything's on back order with no ETA of shipment.
Yep.
So it's getting there.
We'll just start filming, going to McDonald's and getting Taco Bell, whatever we're doing during the day.
Honestly. Yes, sir. Kind of stresses your arms out a little bit.
Hey, that's still a lot easier than the twin turbos.
Yeah.
Got a nice view of the dump right there, just down and out. Dude, when that dump's opening, all that pressure is gonna push the nose down.
Yes, sir.
You know, help combat the wheelies. It's our little thruster. With where we're going, we might not even see anything come out of that.
I was gonna say we might just, you know, take that off actually, put a plug over.
Yeah, we're just gonna close that gate and send her to Mars. So this is the little module from Fuel Tech that they all plug into.
Yep.
Has CAN outputs, so
in no particular order. I'm plugging these in right now just so you can get an idea.
Just stabbing them in there.
Yeah, and then that comes up and locks them in place.
Yep, and that holds them. We'll mount that guy up in the engine bay somewhere, and then just power ground to that. CAN high, CAN low signals to the computer.
Yep.
Get it all set up, and we'll be reading exhaust temps.
Yeah, probably end up mounting this,
In
making
each
a little
cylinder.
bracket.
Yeah, somewhere like right there would look real nice. That's kind of what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Somewhere in this area. And since we got the different lengths, these line up pretty good. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Made huge progress on the MR2, but
Too soon.
so we're getting out of here. So that is gonna be it. Like I said, we have a dyno appointment scheduled, and we're just making sure everything's ready to go on this thing. So I'm not sure how many more updates we'll have throughout the week until we take it over there. But if we have any more stuff show up, then we'll obviously show you guys. So
Leave a comment down below. We'll do a 10-part wiring series on wiring in the wastegate.
yeah, if you want to watch, you know, 3 more hours of raw footage of just Wyatt wiring in there or something.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Let's start a live stream.
Oh God. Let's do a Twitch thing. Make some moolah.
Get some live donations in the chat rolling in.
Yep. Let's do it.
But no, that's where we're at for tonight. So she's almost there. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.